Dear listener, dear viewer, fellow Kenyan, tell me why President William Ruto will spend a whopping 1.2 billion shillings in building a church in Statehouse, whereas we have share not functioning well, at least for those whom it is functioning. When it reaches to issue of buying drugs, it is you to get it from your own pocket. Tell me why a church is such a priority for a president other than any other economic activity or any other thing that will enrich the well-being of the citizens. It is the same narrative that they drove to us during the campaigns before the 2022 general elections. We saw a man who was close to God. We saw a man who was close to church. But later on, after he was sworn in, we saw a different version of a president. For a long time, they've been telling us, give the government time. In this 5-year term, 3 years and still counting is already elapsed. Nothing to show from this regime apart from punitive taxes. What is it that the previous presidents from Jomo Kenyatta, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki to Uhuru Kenyatta, they never saw it fit to construct a chapel within the State House. And now Ruto is finding it a necessity to have a chapel inside the State House. What narrative is he trying to bring into? Am I trying to read too much into it? This 1.2 billion would have been channeled in boosting maybe businesses for the youths. It's not like I'm being bitter, but this is the reality. Just tell me, I really want to understand. A whopping 1.2 billion plus the monies that they keep donating in funerals, the money they keep donating in churches. That money is enough to steer this economy, is enough to empower the youth's economical activities. Anyway, that is for us to decide where we want to go. And that is why we have to take the mantle and change the notion and leadership that has always been there. You see, the typical and traditional politicians cannot adhere to the fact that we are in a new political dispensation whereby you cannot use certain cards as a political capital. For instance, you cannot pull a tribal card right now because Kenyans are united. You cannot say, you cannot, antagonize Luos against Kikuyus, Kikuyus against Kambas, Kambas against Merus, or against any other community within the nation. And that was very evident when protesters came out in June 25th in various parts of the country, including the areas that are considered bedrooms of William Samoei Ruto's support. That shows how Kenyans are so devastated with the running of this nation. See what happened in Mawigo yesterday. It's not like I am happy with what happened. After the body of the slain Albert Ojwang was being taken to home, protesters demanded that it be taken to the police station that he was first booked in before he could be taken to Central Police Station in Nairobi, where he met his demise through torture. And what presumed afterwards was so heinous. The police station was torched. It was ablaze. Now, if I would ask if the government would be going by the script that it is Gachagua and the opposition that is funding these protests, was now Gachagua back in Homa Bay to mobilize and tell the youth to torch the police station? So this government is running out of options. These are the kicks, the last kicks of a dying horse. And that is why I agree with Matiang'i yesterday in their tour in Western region, whereby they began with Rwanda, Vihiga, and Kakamega. Matiang'i told the young, it's not only about having Ruto becoming a one-term president. It's not only about saying Ruto must go. It's not only about us going into the ballot and voting. It's us having a total regime change. We, the youth, let us make sure we hit the road. Let us make sure we take those positions. Let us vie for the MCA positions. Let us vie for the MP positions. Let us vie for the gubernatorial seats, for the senatorial seats. Let us vie for the women representative seats. Let us occupy the leadership positions. That is the exact term that Dr. Fred Matiang'i did.
Safari hii tukifika kwa kura, unajua tumekuwa tukisema occupy parliament, occupy this. Safari hii tu occupy leadership kabisa. Mchukue kadi, muende mugombee viti ya MCA, muingie kule ndani, we occupy leadership. Tuingie pale ndani. Itakuwa kampeni ya occupy leadership na vijana wa Kenya. Kwa sababu nyinyi si wa kabila. Nyinyi amfanyi ushenzi kama huo eti msuie watu wengine wasikuja hapa. Kweli mtakubali maneno kama haya? Mnakubali eti watu wasuiliwe kuja hapa? Hapana bwana. Sisi ni ustaarabu. Kenya imefika mahali imefika. Over 60 years since independence. Hatuwezi kuwa etinji sasa tumeingia maneno ile ya uchafu ya samani eti kuna mtu anaamua nani ataenda wapi katika taifa letu tukufu la Kenya. Mumwambie huyo mzee wetu amepotea. Na kama anaweza kwenda sijui kwa kanisa ama wapi kutubu.
And by the way, when Fred Matiang'i tells the people of Western region, and tell that our man that he is lost and if he could find his way to the church and be cleansed, repent for his sins, whom do you think he's referring to? That is Raila Amolo Odinga, because for a long time, people thought he was a Democrat. People thought he was a person who was fighting for the nation. Unfortunately, he was only targeting to satisfy his greed, because in each and every opposition he's been always offered a position and he's never said no. What of the people who've been dying protecting him? What of the people who've been injured trying to fight for him? Has justice been seen to have been done, even in the lowest scale possible? Never. And that is why when we call him a traitor, we have all the reasons to call him a traitor. He deceived us for a very long time. Actually, the impediment of development in Luo Nyanza is a cause of supporting Raila Amolo Odinga being a psychophant. I don't fear saying that. Anyway, it's for you to decide whether you'll sit down, reason, and get to know the type of leaders that you really want. And that is why I echoed what Dr. Fred Matiang'i said, that we should not only occupy parliament, occupy Statehouse. These protests should also be about occupying the leadership positions. Let us change this nation because we have the powers to change this nation. The sovereign power belongs to the people. It doesn't matter how many draconian laws they're gonna put forth. At the end of the day, it is us who will decide for this nation. You see, they have been telling us, if we are not careful, this country will plunge into blunder and violence shall break out and we shall lose our nation. If there's anybody who is losing this nation, it is you, Mr. President William Samoei Ruto. You found a well-established nation, but you've taken us back to colonialism. You've taken us back into dictatorial era, whereby if you criticize the government or try to say anything otherwise than what the government feels is auguring well with itself, then extrajudicial killings become the order of the day. Torture, state-sanctioned abductions become the order of the day. Anyway, I don't want to say or read much into this. What's your thought? Give me your take in the comment section below. If you love content of this nature, kindly subscribe and press the notification button, so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Halif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dub Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dub Radio ndio mpango mzima.